Hello again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jamaican Youth, and in this video, I'll be talking about the semi-final Gold Cup match between Jamaica and Mexico. Jamaica lost that game by 3-0, and now Jamaica is out of the Gold Cup, and Mexico advances to the final of the Gold Cup between Panama and themselves. Mexico versus Panama for the CONCACAF Gold Cup final. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Jamaica versus Mexico and what happened with us getting bumped out of the tournament. So, it's not a very happy video for me to do because, I really wanted Jamaica to go through to the final of the Gold Cup. I predicted a win from Jamaica, and really that was just coming from my heart. I really wanted Jamaica to win, so I was just being positive, but I also knew it wasn't going to be an easy game for Jamaica. It wasn't going to be a walk in the park. It wasn't going to be a walk in the park, I don't think, for Mexico, but definitely not for Jamaica. And things turned out kind of to be otherwise. And we want to talk about that right now. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to hit the like button, as it helps the video go to many different eyes, and to hit the subscribe button as I want to grow the channel, and your subscription definitely helps. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to be looking at 5 things that kind of defined the game between Jamaica and Mexico in this game. So, again, it's really difficult to talk about because, you expect Jamaica to do well, to do better. And, some were even predicting that Jamaica is a favorite to win the tournament. And we just never really looked like that in yesterday's game. But, it was always going to be difficult. I mean, our history against Mexico, playing Mexico, is not very good. Mexico have more wins. Mexico are CONCACAF kingpins, and they have a really good record against CONCACAF teams. They probably have the strongest record in the Gold Cup. They've won the most Gold Cups. They probably look like they may even take this Gold Cup as well. Their record in the region is really good, and they're looking like the classic Mexico of old, at least in the game against Jamaica. So I have to start out with my number one point to say that Mexico were just the better team last night. Let's just call a spade a spade. Mexico's the better team. They played better. We can find all the reasons from a Jamaican perspective, what Jamaica could have, should have, would have done that would have made them win the game. But the truth of the matter is that Mexico was just the better team. They came out quick. They came out strong. They were very technical. They put away their chances. I mean, if you go back and look at the first goal that was scored against Jamaica, it was a ball that was, I think, kicked out or headed out from defense against Mexico. And I think Amari Bell and Bobby Reed collided over on the side of the pitch. I think Mexico's right-hand side of the pitch. They collided. The ball kind of looped over them. The Mexican winger ran down the wing and got the ball ahead of both of them. Got it across over the other side of the field. Then that guy, with everybody tracking back so late, he got down in the wing right beside the 18-yard box, put it across. There was somebody in the box right there, and he put it past Andre Blake. And if you went and listened to my previous video, that I said we can't afford to give Mexico the type of chances that, or remember that chance that Guatemala got, that they kicked it right to Andre Blake. And that if Mexico get those chances, they'll put them away. We can't afford to give Mexico those chances and not expect to be punished. And that is what happened. One could say the mix-up came from when Bobby Reed and Amari Bell collided up the pitch, because it led to all of the space behind them and then the ball got over to the Mexico's left-hand side or right-hand side, and then the ball came across, and it was 1-0 within 2 minutes. It wasn't even 2 minutes on the clock, and we were down 1-0. But the truth of the matter, though, is Mexico played better. They dominated possession. They played the classic Mexican style of football, which is that they just kill you with possession and they pin you in your half. And, you know, before you know it, you're down 2-0 and you don't even know what reach is like. By the time you wake up to the game is already won. And that's exactly what happened because, you know, we never really woke up until the second half. But by the time the second half was there, we were down 2-0. And, you know, Mexico was just dominating position. We kind of tried to fight back in the end, but we just couldn't do anything. And you could say we should have came out like that in the first half. We should have known, like, you know, just kind of not, our tempo needed to be higher. And I'll talk about that towards the end. But Mexico were just a better team on the night. It's just a fact. We have to accept that and not try to make it seem as if Jamaica could have done all of these other things. Mexico played better. So that's my first point. My second point is the lack of tempo and speed from Jamaica. I knew that the way we played, even the coach said it. He said the tempo that we played against Guatemala with, even though we won that game, that would not work against Mexico. And our tempo was just too slow. And I think, I kind of want to talk about this at the end, but I think that this kind of it points right to a fundamental issue that we have in our football. And I hope somebody with influence in Jamaica can hear this. But we have a fundamental with speed of passing and speed of thought. Those are two things we have a fundamental issue with in Jamaica. And what bothers me or surprises me is that it doesn't matter if we have English-based players or local-based players. We do not pass the ball quickly. And you can look at how all the teams in CONCACAF who play well, who are dominant teams, the good teams in CONCACAF, Mexico, United States, Canada, and now even to a lesser extent, Panama, they pass the ball very quickly. You know, they can pass the ball around. They move the ball from side to side very quickly. We are a little bit slow on that, but in addition to moving the ball quickly, it is important to talk about speed of thought, because you can't move the ball quickly if you can't think the game quickly. And I think Jamaica thinks the game too slow. You know, and that just translates into the way we move the ball physically. The thought process is slow, so the physicality is slow as well, because we can't think fast enough. You know, we need to address that issue, because for me, that is one of the major differences or the major issues we have in defeating the top CONCACAF teams, namely Mexico and the United States. Those two teams, I mean, maybe other teams on a good day we can get past them, but those two teams especially, Mexico and the United States, we play too slow. And that is an advantage that they have over us right off the bat, because they can move the ball faster than us. They can think the game faster than us. And as a result, even though we might be faster than them, we might be more powerful than them, in some cases we might even be taller than them, they have speed of passing and speed of thought of the game over us. And you know, if we can run fast but we can't think fast, then the speed on the ground is not really going to help us as much against top opponents. So we need to address that. Coach Hallgrimson needs to address that with the team, and also the Jamaica Premier League, the coaches in the Jamaica Premier League. We need to start to work on playing a faster brand of football. We play too slowly. So that's my position and that, but it's a lack of tempo and a lack of speed of thought and speed of moving the ball. That was an issue that I saw. Then my third point is there were too many errors in the game. To be honest, we were just kind of very all over the place, So we never really settled down into a rhythm in the game. We never got a passing rhythm going and just settled down in the game. We were disjointed the entire game. And I'm not saying this to blame the players like they didn't try, but it's just calling it what it is and calling it what I saw. No, credit to Mexico. I can't just act like, oh, Jamaica didn't settle into the game and didn't pass the ball well because they are not good. It's because Mexico forced that on them. Mexico pressed them. And I want to get to that in a second. Mexico pressed us. And that is a thing I have been talking about since before Guatemala. Remember, before Guatemala, one of the things I was saying, we need to high press them. And, one could argue that even though we beat Guatemala, Guatemala played the better game. But we just had better players than Guatemala. And so we won them. We beat them. But if you look in the Guatemala game, they pressed us more than we pressed them. As I said in the post-match analysis. But we never pressed Guatemala. And in this first half of Mexico, we never pressed them either. They pressed us. They put us under pressure. And we looked like we were trying to just absorb the pressure. And then hopefully Mexico was going to run out of steam and then we could attack. That was never going to happen against Mexico. Mexico doesn't run out of steam. They're going to run from minute 1 to minute 90. You look at the game against Qatar that they lost. Really what happened is that they ran out of time. But they were peppering Qatar with chances. So they're not going to run out of steam. They don't get tired. So that approach was never going to work. So we had too many errors. The collision between Amari Bell and Bobby Reid was one. I mean, it led to a goal, even though that wasn't the immediate thing that led to the goal. But you could see if that collision didn't happen and we had that wing under control, we wouldn't have conceded that early goal. Conceding early, was an error, even though they're kind of related. You don't want to concede like this early against Mexico because that's what they do. They try to defeat you before you even have the opportunity to settle down in the game. And that's exactly what happened. Before Jamaica had the chance to think and to breathe, we were already down 2-0. So we conceded too early. We got 3 yellow cards. So I think it was Deshaun Bernard, Damian Lowe, Deshaun Bernard, Damian Lowe, and Kevon Lambert, which I guess what Hallgrimson did at halftime, he took out Lambert. He put Bobby Reid back in midfield with Latibo there and brought on Shamar Nicholson to play, to twin him with Mikel Antonio up front, and then brought back Liam Bailey as a winger, so that you gone back in the classic 4-4-2 formation, but with different personnel. Lambert wasn't playing really badly. It's just that I guess he had to sacrifice Lambert because of the yellow card. But before I even move on, this is kind of an issue I have with Hallgrimson, to be honest. I love Hallgrimson as a coach and everything. I think he's a brilliant coach, good thinking mind and everything. But I don't like the fact that he's so ultra defensive. You know what I mean? Like, he is big on defense. And I get that is what has brought him success. That's why he keeps saying he's going to make Jamaica very a difficult team to beat, right? But when you look at the way he plays, he already has 4 defenders at the back. You have Amari Bell, Deshaun Bernard, Damian Lowe, and Lembe Kisa or Javane Brown. So that's 4 defenders. And then in front of him, those two, you have Lambert and you have Latiba there. So now you have 6 defenders. So more than half the team, and then if you even look at the goalkeeper, being a type of defender, that's now 7 defenders. So it's ultra defense. More than half of the team, more than 50% of the team is on defense. So now everything is left up to the front 4. Not even front 4. The front 4. So the 2 wingers and the 2 strikers. That's pretty much what you're left with. And there's no midfield. There's nobody in the middle to move the ball from defense into offense. I get having one defensive midfielder, but you need an attacking midfielder as well. And this is a question that has been asked by many people, in press conferences of Haldimson. The midfield seems to is missing a spark. And I know we really miss Ravel Morrison in this tournament. I wish Ravel Morrison was in a team and was fit and could be there, because we really missed. But why not play Daniel Johnson more often? And then if Daniel Johnson is tired, then you can go ultra defensive if you want, or put slot back Bobby Reed in the middle. But he just kind of refused to play Daniel Johnson. He refused to use an attacking midfielder, and I guess because it had been working up until now, he just decided to go with it. But if you look at how it worked, yes, we beat Guatemala, but it wasn't very convincing. We need an attacking midfielder, and maybe for the Nations League coming up, that might be a focus that we need to do. The coach need to focus on finding an attacking midfielder, somebody like a Ravel Morrison, somebody that is strong in midfield. Because obviously, if he's not playing Daniel Johnson, it means that he doesn't have the type of confidence in Daniel Johnson that he would have had in, say, a Ravel Morrison. Because had Ravel Morrison been playing consistently, he probably would have started in this team. But he's not starting Daniel Johnson, which is the only other player that can do what Ravel Morrison does. So he maybe doesn't have confidence in Daniel Johnson, or not enough. So maybe in this quote-unquote off-season, when we're getting prepared for the Nations League, we need to look into finding an attacking midfielder, because I think that's really missing in our team. Even though I think Latiba Dare and Lambert are outstanding CDMs, we still need an attacking midfield. And that is why I've always been an advocate of a 4-3-3. So if you want to use Lambert and Latiba Dare in the field at the same time, fine, but at least have one attacking midfielder there in front of with them. So that's where I stand. All right, so I don't want to stay on that point too long, but just too many errors and yellow cards, and we had nothing on offense, or our offense was very anemic. We never really did anything much on offense. We never really threatened Mexico. Ochoa in the goal, he never had to make any major saves. It was very easy for him in this game. So moving on, my fourth point is we never tried to high press until the second half. I've been saying we have to high press them. And look what happened when we started high pressing them in the second half. They started going over the top, and we won more balls when they went over the top than when they passed out to the back. When we forced them to go over the top, we started winning more balls and we actually made more attacks. So I don't know why they waited until the second half to high press them. And, the same way that they press us to push us off our game, we could have pressed them. And even if we don't want to high press them, we need to press them, put them under a little pressure so that they can kick away the ball and, try something so that we can force them into a mistake, just like they force us into mistakes. And then we try and score from there. And then finally, my final point is Jamaica really had no answer to the barrage of attacking threats from Mexico. Mexico just really dominated the game. They really just had a free run over us. I don't want to pick out individual players and individual things. I'm just speaking generally of what I saw in the game. They really just dominated us, and I guess there are some things that we could have done in terms of pressing them more and just keeping away from the errors that we made. We made too many errors in the game. And I personally believe that the coach, as I've said before, we need to do some things. We need to find an attacking midfielder. I don't think we have a bad team, but we have to improve our intensity. The relaxed, laid-back style doesn't work against top teams. It may work against the lower-ranked teams, but when you get to Mexico, USA, Canada, and maybe even Panama, and maybe even Costa Rica as well, this laid-back style it's not going to work against them. We need to increase our tempo. We need to increase the tempo of how we played. But I still want to say, though, I don't want to be overly negative. I am still, pro reggaeboyz. I still support the team. I still think this was a good tournament for us. Still saying kudos to the coach. There's some soul searching that we're going to have to do. It was okay. It was an okay tournament for us. We made it to the semifinals, which should at this point be a minimum for us. We should at least make it to the semifinal. At that point, we're going to run up into Mexico or the US. So we have to deal with it at that point. But kudos to the reggaeboyz. You went out there and you tried. I never really liked how the Mexico game looked, but I'm pretty sure that you guys weren't out there trying to lose the game. You were trying to do your best, and it just never really panned out. And I get that. Like I'm not gonna be here just, trying to act as if you weren't playing your heart. So you tried hard. You wanted to win, and I still support you. I'm still pro reggaeboyz for the Nations League. I'm still 100% behind the team. I applaud you for going out there and giving you the best, giving yourself a chance to win. You put yourself in the position where you were in the semifinals, and unfortunately we never got it over the line. So again, congratulations to the boys. Congratulations to Mexico for making it to the final. And, I guess the next thing up is the Nations League. We have a little time off until then, so we can find a few more pieces. But, in the pursuit of finding more pieces for our team, I want to ask the question, is it that we just need more pieces all the time, or is our fundamental philosophy of football something that needs improvement as well? Because I'm thinking to myself, if we had our optimum player in every position that we have on the team, would that have led to a win against Mexico? I really have to ask myself that question. Even if we had the Ravel Morrison there, everybody that we wanted in every position that we have, would that have led to a win against Mexico? Ask yourself that question. For me, I think there is more. What needs to be addressed more is the fundamental way we play football, our speed of passing and our speed of thought on the ball. That's what I think needs to be addressed. Now, some may agree or disagree with my point of view, but that's how I feel. There are some players that I think that I don't think that they're the best fit for the position that they're in, and we need to change out those players. And I'm not going to say those players right now because I know it's going to be controversial, but there are some players on the team that I think shouldn't. I don't know if I should say shouldn't, but they're not. I think there are better players that could fit that position. And maybe in another video I'll talk about that. But for now, I just want to, even though we lost, I want to keep it positive and say kudos to the reggaeboyz. You played well, even though you didn't move on to the final of this tournament. we salute your effort. I personally salute your effort. And, you know, we just hope that we can go back to the drawing board and, you know, come good again next time. Come good for the Nations League. We have Copa America next year. We can come back bigger, better, stronger. And we just keep the reggaeboyz train moving. All right, everyone, I'm going to leave it there. And so just like to ask you to smash the like button on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed, to hit the subscribe button, as it helps the channel grow. And until next time, take care of yourself. I'm out.